So for any of you that make coffee in the morning, that you still remember those cone filters, maybe you had the paper filters, maybe you still do, maybe you have the little cuppy things that have the filter inside. But essentially, when that filter is leaving the grinds behind it, right? Even if you have a Bodum, right, there's a strainer inside, it's leaving things behind. And the filter that you use to see life is how you end up perceiving it. So, depending on your coffee filter, right, or your strainer, even for your tea, it's going to decide if it's weak or if it's strong. And that is the idea with your own filter as you're looking at the world. So, I'm just going to try this on for a moment. So, there's a lot of conversation about um, the thing that's going in the arms race. Once upon a time, I thought the arms race had to do with nuclear warheads. So here's what I just said to someone. What if in that little vial is just pure saline solution? In every single vial, it's just saline solution. And those that are thinking that this saline solution, this thing, is going to help them stay healthy and keep them from getting it, then and that's what occurs for them down the road in the years ahead. They go, it's all because of this thing that went in my arm. Yet, it really had nothing. It would be the placebo effect, right? Or, we talk about the fact that there's nothing there. And that's one of the reasons, if you look at some of the data now that came back with, originally they were saying it was 95% effective, but now if you reread what they're saying in terms of efficacy in real world, it's like less than 1% difference between what this is doing. Now, if you are over on this side and you're saying, oh my gosh, do you know what the mRNA vaccine is doing? Do you know what's in there? It's horrible. And then you discover it's all just saline solution. Then the energy that you're putting into this is also affecting your perception. And hence, anybody that receives it, you're going, oh. Now, for those that are over there that are going, well, yeah, but you can look at the deaths and adverse reactions, et cetera, et cetera. Well, is that really because of this, right? Which is what some of the people are saying, is can we really correlate and say this injection was the reason and cause of their death? I also know that 5G networks have gone up, exponentially this past year. Could that extra vibe of radiation be part of it? Or could it all just be perception? Could it all just be that we're in this multi-dimensional, cyclical universe where you're having many different experiences and you can't even fathom it? So each person is having that experience. So the person that you're looking at going, don't you see my viewpoint relating to the injection? And they're like, no, because they literally, although they're in front of you, they are completely in a different realm of the universe. And in that realm of the universe, just kind of like being on a different station. You know how sometimes if you remember those days where you might have the radio on and on the car and you're going through a valley or something, or it could be with the cell phone still, you lose just service a little bit. It gets a little cramped. You're breaking up, like Scotty on Star Trek. You're breaking up, but you just get a little fuzz, or sometimes you pick up a radio station, you think you've got it, and then it disappears. Well, it could be that space, right? You've come into what seems like you're in the same world, but you're really in two different worlds. And you are wanting to make your perception correct, right? Like if you only knew, and they're like, if you only knew, right? And I don't get it. And again, we're just missing each other. So if you start to adopt a different perception, if you start to change your filter to make it a little weaker, a little stronger, right? Maybe some of these people that are just seeming to just be going along, completely trusting without questioning anything, and have had some issues where they've been hurt or harmed, maybe they might need to make their perception or their filter, make their coffee, in a sense, or tea a little stronger, and just really get a little bit more present. And maybe the other ones that are stronger on their opinions of harm might want to just weaken it a little bit. And in the process of changing the filter and changing your perception, you might find a common ground. Hence the word common law. Law, love always wins. Law, land, air, water. Common, meaning it's common to us. What is common to us in our perceptions, if we have such different filters that perceive our perception, is there's this inner guidance, an intuition, a gut instinct. And in that commonness, there's a naturalness that just feels right for each one of us. It feels right. Now, just because it feels right for us, this is the big one, it can feel entirely wrong for another person. And that's fine because they're having a different experience. Multidimensional, cyclical, everything's happening at the same time. There is no time. So it's like people are living in the past and they're living in the future and they're living in the present because it's all happening now, yet everyone is still wanting to put timestamps on it. Well, not everyone. I correct that, is some people are wanting to put timestamps on it. They want to tell you what's going to happen next. And that's their filter. That's their sense of control. They want to have some control over this breaking down of what is breaking down, because the illusions that we've held in place that they were such a strong illusion that we thought it was real are breaking away, and we're starting to see rainbows everywhere. And if you see the unicorn that trots by your house, you're like, what the, and magic for some people is happening so much more frequently. They're feeling like they're walking through walls or, ripping through fabric of time. The synchronicities, the ahas, the awarenesses, things that they might have even known and were clear on as a child that had to kind of like put aside because this world place just didn't make sense. And other people have never had any of those experiences. So they are looking at you like that you have some little green antennas going on. And that's okay. If you can laugh at yourself and laugh at the experience that you're having, right? And go, oh my gosh, the only common ingredient is me. I had 2 different relationships, 2 entirely different people, but yet I was feeling the same way. I was feeling the same way. Me. I had to look at what is common for me. It was like different ends of the spectrum, trying on different ways of being, thinking the external was going to help the internal. And when I dealt with here and digging deep, way back into those crevices, kind of back there, down into the, kind of like going through the drawers in your house, your closet, or your garage, or the basement, and you're going, wow, I can't believe I still have this. Sometimes you look at it and you go, oh my gosh, that's affecting things. Oh my gosh, that wire just was a little out of place. Oh my gosh, something happened, a little tweak, and it wasn't a big thing. It was a little tweak. And when I can trust the timing of when it's going to happen, it's like all the pieces come together at the same time, because the universe, the source consciousness unified field, is running the show. And then I'm like paddling in the kayak or surfing the wave. I'm going with it. And sometimes it's rest. Sometimes it's, paddle, right? You know what you need to do. I know that I had to learn to trust my inner guidance. And it took me away from all the things that I was taught to believe in and learn and understand that this is my superpower. And being guided to write the book last year, and most of my key experiences in really anchoring my level of trust came from me leaving the traditional medical field, because I had an incurable at a very young age, and I was destined by the medical community to live with it and just not have children and be controlled by medication. And thankfully, I just was guided to have a different experience. And I say guided because it was something inside that kept saying to me, there's more to this. This doesn't make sense. So I was led to mind body medicine. I was led to discover complementary and alternative. I was led that way. And then I was led to energy. And then I was led to this space and time that everything just is, and I just know it because I'm there. I've had the experiences. I know what works for me, and I know that every single person needs to convince themselves of what's true. They need to, change the filters, change the glasses. They need to keep looking. And even though I know that I know things now that I can trust, I never know what's going to happen. I never know what's going to happen in an hour, let alone a day. I might have things on the calendar, okay? But whether even those things on the calendar occur, only time will tell. And how it really will magically happen, if, as I've learned to just relax and let it be, it's amazing how it always works out. And it's through these experiences you convince yourself and you realize, you know what? Oh my gosh, you can relax. There's more than just the job that's going to get you paid. As I was talking with someone earlier, right? It's like, my wealth transformation, it's like make a list of 30 ways that you could receive income. Most people might have 5, they might have 10. Like, it's like, change. What else can you do? When you start to open yourself up to possibility, you start to see there's more possibility. When you're focused on one specific agenda, one specific way something's going to work out, or maybe 2. It's either A or B. It's either good or it's bad. It's either right or it's wrong. There's no gray area. Because in a sense, there is only truth within you, but within that truth, there's a variety of contrasts that you're going to get to experience. But you're true and consistent, and you get to see your heart's desires. And you get to notice what triggers you. And you get to notice what you need to release. So as you recognize that you are filtering everything you're perceiving, everything that I've said, if you go and you listen to it again a couple days later, you will probably hear it differently. It's like pick up a book. You go, oh, I didn't see that before. Or someone in your house says to you, I've told you that a million times. And you're like, really? I just heard it for the first time. And that's because when you're ready to hear it, to feel it, to see it, to be it. That, for me, is the experience of life. Life is in the gap. Life is in the moment, the present, the gift. And in that moment, it's like the awe of a child, right? That the filters have yet to been put on by mom and dad. Don't touch that. Do that. Oh, that's not good. That's green. That's what. Put that on. That'll keep you protected from the sun. We do this consistently because we've been trained to do it. We've been educated to do it. Some of the most blocked people are the most educated people, because they're so well trained in being educated in what they do that getting out of that educated box, because they're so sure that that's true, that it's a whole other ballgame. It's like scientists that know that dark matter affects the gravitational pull of the whole universe. And they really don't know what dark matter is, and they don't really know how much dark matter is. They just know that this dark matter that they don't really know what it is exists. They're not sure if it's oval or it's round or what it does, but it's there. And so even though they don't know it's there and it affects their choices, they make all these assumptions and presumptions and studies based on the idea that it's there, but we don't know what is there. So consider, even if you're just a scientist, that there's something else that's moving you, grooving you through the process of life. And what particular filter you have on, just like a scientist, what are you expecting is going to happen, does happen. When you can keep clearing those filters and opening your eyes and ears and seeing, was that the same that I just saw? Was that different? Huh. Wow, just was. Without making it mean something. If you give up creatures of meaning, then really you are going to be in a whole other world. Your filters go away. Your perception changes. and you'll discover your own inner truth. And that is really what it all revolves around. You finding, I finding my joy, my vibe. Because as each of us does that, it's like a whole other world. Your best whole new world is waiting for you. Trust your inner guidance. If you need help, you can grab a copy of my book, Trusting Your Intuition, Discover Your Superpower in 10 Days from Amazon. And if you need a breakthrough, if you really feel like you're just kind of hitting a wall, then reach out and we'll just do a breakthrough session, clear that away for you, and discover what's waiting for you. Open and receive. Have a very awesome day. Mwah.